everything, every worry, every what if, every fear. Carried them that luggage everywhere I went. Never thought I'd put them down right here. The morning came and went without me in it. Too busy gripping things that weren't mine to keep. I didn't know that letting go was lighter. Didn't know that ease was something I could reach. One by one I'm setting things down. Not because I failed, but because TEBANASUことが自由だと Finally learning what it means to breathe. 手放していく一つずつ Everything I thought I couldn't live without 力を抜いて The sky looks bigger when your hands are empty 気軽になる This is what it feels like to let go. How much I was carrying until I put one thing down and felt the shift. Something in my shoulder, something in my chest. The smallest act of release, the biggest gift. It wasn't all at once, it never is. Just one thing, then another, then the next. And slowly I began to feel the difference between holding on and being finally blessed. One by one I'm setting things down. Not because I failed, but because TEBANASUことが自由だとFinally learning what it means to breathe. 手放していく一つずつ Everything I thought I couldn't live without 力を抜いて The sky looks bigger when your hands are empty 気軽になる This is what it feels like to let go. Yeah, now I practice it like anything. Like a muscle I forgot I had. The art of opening my hands and trusting that what's meant to stay will come back. And what leaves was never really mine to hold. Just passing through, just borrowing my time. TEBANASUたびに軽くなる And the life I wanted starts to feel like mine. It doesn't mean you didn't care. It doesn't mean it didn't matter. 手放すとは愛じゃない It's the kind of thing you'll ever do Everything I thought I couldn't live without 力を抜いて The sky looks bigger when your hands are empty 気軽になる This is what it feels like to let go. 手放した軽い静かに軽いWhen did breathing become something I had to remind myself to do? When did just existing get so heavy that I forgot the sky was still that blue? I caught myself holding my breath again. Shoulders up somewhere around my ears. Moving through the day like I was bracing for something that might never even appear. The to-do list, the notifications, the voice inside that never quite shuts up. I sat down for a second, closed my eyes, and remembered how to just fill up. 一休み一回 just one breath all the way down. ゆっくりとSounds too simple to be the answer. Just breathe, they say, like that fixes things. But there's something in the act of choosing to stop and let the oxygen come in. It doesn't solve the things that need solving, doesn't make the hard stuff disappear, but it brings you back into your body, and that's the only place you can begin. 一休み一回 just one breath all the way down. To answer is just this この1秒 Just a breath, just a moment, just the fact that you exist 目が広がる What if that's enough? What if you're enough? Right now, exactly as you are 一休み一回 Just one breath all the way down ゆっくりと Feel the ground beneath you Feel them now 落ち着いてく Everything was always gonna be okay 一休みもう一ゆっくりもう一回 そのままで I used to think I needed to be fixed That there was always something to improve Some version of myself that would be worthy Once I'd done enough, once I could prove I chased a better version like a shadow Always just ahead, never quite here And somewhere in the running I forgot That I was already enough, already clear そのままでいい You don't have to be anything but this あるがままに Every flaw and all the rest of it 変わらなくていい The version standing here right now そのままで Now I look back at the one who was running And hold her with a gentler kind of hand She was doing everything she knew to Just trying her best to understand The irony is that in all that chasing I missed the thing I was looking for That I was always already enough I just couldn't see it from the floor そのままでいい You don't have to be anything but this あるがままに Every flaw and all the rest of it 変わらなくていい The version standing here right now そのままで I'm not saying don't grow, don't reach I'm saying grow from love, not from lack There's a difference between becoming more And thinking you need to fix what's already intact The foundation was always solid The ground was always there beneath my feet そのままの私 Was always someone worth getting to meet Not perfect, not finished Not everything I thought I should be でもそのままで This is the most honest I have ever been Showing up exactly as I am Without apology そのままでI see you feeling every single second. Back to back, no room to breathe between. Like if you stop, the whole thing falls apart. Like rest is somehow something in between. You schedule and you optimize and hustle. You give the day everything you've got. And then you wonder why you feel so empty when you've been given everything you're not. You treat the gaps like failures to be filled. Every quiet moment needs a purpose. But what if space is not a waste of time? What if empty is exactly where the worth is? The page needs margin just to be readable. The song needs silence just to have a beat. YOHAKU ga aru kara utsukushii. The art is in the space between the feet. Akete oite skoshi. Don't fill every corner of your day. YOHAKU ga hitsuyou. Leave some room for what you cannot plan. Aite iru yo koko ni. Not everything needs to be filled in. Nani mo shinai jikan. The empty space is where you get to breathe. Yutori ga umareru. Give yourself the gift of nothing. Sometimes yukuri shiyou. I'm not telling you to stop or slow down, just asking you to leave a little room for the unexpected, for the quiet, for the version of you that needs some noon. The best ideals come from empty mornings. The best connections come from unplanned time. YOHAKU no naka ni jibun ga iru. That's where you find out what you really are. Give yourself a corner with no purpose, a Tuesday with no place to be. YOHAKU wa muda janai. It's the most productive thing you'll never put on any list. The space between the notes is still the music. YOHAKU ga anata o torimodosu. The empty afternoon is still your life. Aite iru yo koko ni. Not everything needs to be filled in. Nani mo shinai jikan. The empty space is where you get to breathe. Yutori ga umareru. Give yourself the gift of nothing. Sometimes yukuri shiyou. Yukuri shiyou. Aite iru. Mada aru. Mada tsukatte inai. Korekara dou shiyou. I'm done catastrophizing, done playing out the worst before it's even happened. I'm putting down that curse. I used to map out every possible disaster, every way the thing could go wrong. Spent so much time preparing for the collapse that I forgot to just get along. Turns out most of what I was afraid of never showed up at my door. And all that time I spent on worst case scenarios, could have been living so much more. Umaku iku kitto. It has before and it will again. Daijoubu. Not because nothing ever goes wrong. Nemo umaku iku. Because you always find a way through. Umaku iku kara. I've been in situations I was certain would be the thing that finally broke me down. And every single time I found a foothold, every single time I didn't drown. Not because I had it all together, not because I knew what I was doing, just because I kept on going anyway. And somehow things kept working out. Umaku iku kitto. It has before and it will again. Daijoubu. Not because nothing ever goes closer. You don't need to see the whole road. 一つずつでいい One step and another. That's all it ever was. なんとかなってきた。ずっと look back at everything you've already survived. It was always gonna be okay. It always ends up being okay. うまくいくきっと It has before and it will and again. 大丈夫 Not because nothing ever goes wrong. でもうまくいく Because you'll always find a way through. うまくいくからうまくいくよ大丈夫I noticed it one afternoon in traffic. The way my hands were gripping the wheel. Jaw clenched tight, shoulder someone in my ears. Like my body forgot how to feel. I've been carrying the tension for so long. It started feeling like my natural state. Like somewhere along the way I just decided that bracing was how you navigate. But nobody told me I could put it down. Nobody said it was okay to just Kata no chikaraを抜いて And let the day be what it's going to be. Chikaraを抜いて Drop the weight you didn't know you're holding. 深く息をして Let the shoulders fall where they belong. 気軽になってく Nothing bad will happen if you soften. 力を抜いていいNoticing it everywhere. The tightness in the way I held my face. The way I braced for every conversation. Like I needed armor just in case. And slowly I began to practice softness. Just a little, just a degree or two. Turns out the world doesn't need your tension. Turns out you can move through it lighter too. But nobody told me I could put it down. Nobody said it was okay to just Kata no chikaraを抜いて And let the day be what it's going to be. 力を抜いて Drop the way you didn't know you're holding. 深く息をして Let the shoulders fall where they belong. 気軽になってく Nothing bad will happen if you soften. 力を抜いてCheck in with myself more often. Ask my body what it's been holding on to. And more often than I'd like to admit, it's something small that I forgot to let through. The email, the offhand comment, the worry that somewhere in the day I swallowed whole. Kataを落として息をする And feel myself come back into my soul. You've been so strong for so long. You've been holding it all up. 肩の力もう抜いていい Nobody's watching, nobody needs you to be that tense right now. Just for a moment, just this once. Yeah, why can't we Let yourself be soft. 力を抜いて Drop the weight you didn't know you're holding. 深く息を something I let fly. I noticed I've been laughing apologetically, like sorry for taking up this space with sound. Like joy was something I should keep more quiet, like being lightman letting someone down. I'd soften and explain it, make it smaller, hold it back until it felt more appropriate. But lately I've been letting it come through when something in the room just tends to shift. Well, I day motto, let it out however loud it wants to be. HAJIKARA. Laugh until you're gasping, laugh until you cry. Well, like tomorrow night, this is what it feels like to be free. Well, I day. There's science in it, yes, but more than that, there's something ancient in a room that laughs. The way it pulls you out of your own head, the way it makes the heavy feel less half. I've laughed with strangers and felt less alone. I've laughed at nothing and felt more alive. Well, cause and some days, that's the thing that helps you survive. Well, I day motto, let it out however loud it wants to be. HAJIKARA. Laugh until you're gasping, laugh until you cry. Well, like tomorrow night, this is what it feels like to be free. Well, I day. You don't need a reason, you don't need permission. What I need you, I eat at night. Just the thing that tickles something, just the moment that it hits, and then let it all the way out. Oh, all the way, no holding back. That's the whole point. Well, I day motto, let it out however loud it wants to be. HAJIKARA. Laugh until you're gasping, laugh until you cry. Well, I got tomorrow night, this is what it feels like to be free. Well, I day. 最後に笑ったのはいつ？もうすぐまた笑えるよ。I used to plan for every possible outcome, map every route before I took a step. Control was how I kept myself from falling, or so I thought, until I nearly left myself behind in all the planning and all the gripping tightly to the wheel. I forgot that life was happening around me, forgot there were things I couldn't think my way to feel. 自由に行こう、このまま Not every road needs to be decided. 流れに乗って Let the wind take you somewhere new. どこへ行くかな You don't have to know before you're going. 自由に行こう Now I'll leave a little room for wandering, a little space for what I didn't plan. Some of the best things that have found me were things I never could have mapped out in advance. The conversation that changed everything, the wrong turn that led somewhere beautiful. KAZE MAKASEが教えてくれた That not all detours are a failure. 自由に行こう、このまま Not every road needs to be decided. 流れに乗って Let the wind take you somewhere new. どこへ行くかな You don't have to know before you're going. 自由に行こう I still make plans, I still have goals. I'm not saying let the whole thing go. Just hold it all a little more loosely and leave some room for what you cannot know. The wind doesn't ask where it's going, it just moves and finds its way. 風 前のように自分も free to change direction any day. What if the detour was the destination? What if the wrong turn was the right one? 風に聞いてみよう It knows things that your plans don't. It goes where it needs to go. 任せてみたらどうだろう Just for once, just for today. Let go of the wheel, see where it takes you. 自由に行こうこのまま Not every road needs to be decided. 流れに乗って Let the wind take you somewhere new. どこへ行くかな You don't have to know before you're going. 自由に行こう Still moving, still going. どこかへきっと Wherever the wind decides to blow. 自由に行こう風任せI see you replaying the conversation again. The one from years ago that still gets you mad. The thing they said, the way they acted. You've told that story so many times you've had. It's like you're hoping if you tell it enough, somehow it'll come out different this time. But the ending stays the same no matter what. And you're the one still carrying that weight, that grind. I'm not saying what they did was fine. I'm not saying you should just forget. But there's a difference between remembering and carrying it like an unpaid debt. The anger you've been holding all this time, it's not punishing them anymore. It's just living inside your body, taking up space, closing every door. 忘れることと一緒じゃない It's not saying it was okay 自分のためになんだ It's putting down what's too heavy to carry ほどいていくゆっくりと Not for them but for yourself 軽くなる Setting down the weight you've held so long 自分を救う This is the gift you give to you ほどいていい I know it's not as easy as deciding I know some things take years, take everything But maybe today is just the start of it Just loosening your grip a little Just one thing Maybe you don't have to forgive completely Maybe you just stop carrying it around Set it down somewhere outside yourself And notice how much lighter you feel on the ground 強さがいる It takes more strength to set it down Than to keep holding on あなたのためにほどいて Not for the one who hurt you But for the one who's still hurting That's you You deserve to put this down ほどいていくゆっくりと Not for them but for yourself 軽くなる Setting down the weight you've held so long 自分を救う This is the gift you give to you ほどいていい少しずつ軽くなっていくまだ時間がかかるけど I'm done asking what they think Done running every choice through their eyes Done shrinking down to fit opinions that were never mine to carry mine to size I used to check every reaction Read the room before I said a word Adjust myself to fit whatever energy I thought I'd somehow stirred It was exhausting, constantly translating myself into something more digestible Editing down to something smaller, something It's your right でも私のことじゃない Your opinion is information about you Not a verdict about me 自分を生きる That's the only job I've got And I'm done outsourcing it もういいよもう What you think of me is not my business 自分のままで I'm done shrinking to make space for your comfort もういいよ oh, oh, This is me Take it or leave it もういいよ oh, oh, あなたも気にしなくていいよ自分のままでSunday morning, nothing planned at all Coffee going cold beside the bed The light coming through the curtain slowly Nowhere to be, nothing said Just the sound of you breathing next to me The quiet hum of the world outside This is the kind of moment I used to rush through Looking for something more, something else, something wide But what if this was already it? この瞬間がWhat if there's nothing better waiting than exactly this? このまんまでいたい Don't change a single thing about right now この時間が This ordinary moment is the one I remember 宝物 Nothing special Everything special このままがいいWe don't have to make memories Sometimes the unmade ones are best The ones that happen while you're not trying While you're just living just at rest I used to think the good days were the big ones The trips, the parties, the events But is this the nothing afternoon That I keep coming back to since What if this was already it この瞬間がWhat if there's nothing better waiting than exactly this? このまんまでいたい Don't change a single thing about right now この時間が This ordinary moment is the one I'll remember 宝物 Nothing special Everything special このままがいいThinking about all the future days The ones we're planning, the ones we're not But none of them will be better than knowing right now In this moment is all we've got And somehow that's not sad to me anymore It used to scare me, the passing of time But if every moment could be like this one その時が今このひとときを I wanna bottle this feeling Not to save it for later But just to remember It was real それで十分 This was enough This is enough This will always have been enough このまんまでいたい Don't change a single thing about right now この時間が This ordinary moment is the one I remember 宝物 Nothing special Everything special このままがいいこのままずっとこのまま not to check your phone. Just stop, just sit, just let yourself be. Just for a minute, just on your own. I used to think breaks had to be earned, like rest was a reward for being tired enough. Like stopping needed justification, some achievement to make it deserved. But lately I've been taking these little pauses, not because I've earned them, just because I need them, and that's reason enough. Just a breath, just a moment, just because HITOIKI, it's cold. Just a pause, nothing more than that. Chotto dake, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you've got. So let it you don't need a reason to rest. The world keeps telling us to optimize every second, every minute, every breath. But what if the most productive thing was learning when to stop instead? I take my little pauses now, between meetings, between tasks, between thoughts. Just a moment to come back to myself before I go back out into it all. HITOIKI, it's cool. Just a pause, nothing more than that. Chotto dake, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you've got. So whatever you don't need a reason to rest. Maybe the pause is the point, maybe the in-between is where you live. Skima jikani, that's where you find yourself again. Not in the doing, not in the going, but in the soft spaces between. Tsumiga nega watashi wo tsukuru, one breath at a time, that's how it's built. HITOIKI, it's cold. Just a pause, nothing more than that. Chotto dake, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you've got. So let it you don't need a reason to rest. 少しだけついた、もう少し。I used to measure my days by what I lacked, what I hadn't gotten yet, hadn't achieved. The next thing, always brighter than the last, always something more I thought I need. My house was never big enough, my plans were never quite complete. There was always a gap between where I was and where I should be. Tariteru mo, I have everything I need right here. JIBUN da, this life, this moment, this very breath. Tariteru na, not waiting for more to feel whole. Tariteru. Now I look around this small apartment and see abundance instead of lack. A roof, a bed, a window with some light. People who love me, people who have my back. It's not that I stopped wanting things, it's that wanting stopped being the point. What I have is not a placeholder for something better that hasn't arrived. Tariteru mo, I have everything I need right here. JIBUN da, this life, this moment, this very breath. Tariteru na, not waiting for more to feel whole. Tariteru. Gratitude isn't pretending things are perfect, it's seeing what's already good and true. Even on the hard days, even in the mess, there's still something here that's getting me through. A cup of tea, a song, a quiet hour. These aren't small things, they're everything. 足りていることに気づく, that's the whole shift, that's the whole thing. JIBUN wa goal じゃない It's not the end of wanting more. It's just remembering right now ここに全てがある Everything you need for this moment is already in your hands 足りてるとしていく And from that fullness everything else can grow. 足りてる more. I have everything I need right here. 十分だ This life, this moment, this very breath. 足りてるんだ Not waiting for more to feel whole. 足りてる Right here, right now. Right here, right now. もう足りてる Oh, everything I need is already mine. Right here, right now. 足りてる足りてる足りてるYeah. I know it's been raining for a while now. I know some days feel like they'll never end. The gray skies, the heavy air, the waiting for something, anything to bend. You've been holding an umbrella for so long, braced against a storm that won't let up. But I want you to know, even now, somewhere behind those clouds, the sun's still up. You don't have to believe it yet. You don't have to feel it to know it's true. Sometimes the clearing comes before you notice. Sometimes the light gets in before you do. I've seen you keep going through the gray. I've seen the way you show up anyway. And that more than anything tells me a break in the clouds is coming your way. もうすぐだよ Even if you can't see it 必ず来る Hold on just a little longer 空が明るい見えてくる Just a little light breaking through 雲が切れていく You don't have to wait for it to be perfect 日差しが暖かい Just a moment of warmth is enough to remember 空が明るい And when it comes, however small, however briefly the sun finds your face, let yourself feel it, let yourself rest in that small golden fleeting space. It doesn't mean the rain won't come back. It doesn't mean the hard part's fully done. But it means you made it to this moment. And that moment is real. And the sun 晴れ間は続かなくていい It doesn't have to last forever. Just long enough to remind you 空は変わっていく The sky is always changing, always moving, always shifting. Even my heart at dead when right now in this moment there's light on your face. 空が明るい見えてくる Just a little light breaking through 雲が切れていく You don't have to wait for it to be perfect out the parts to show the good days and the bad days. All of it, the whole, the full. I used to present the highlight reel, the wins, the smiles, the put together days. Keep the messy parts behind the curtain, keep the struggle out of view, out of the way. But that's not a person, that's a performance, and performances are exhausting to keep up. I'm done being a curated version, I'd rather just be enough. Just be me, just be MARUGOTO watashi. All of it, the light and the shadow too. Uketomeru. Every part of this story is mine to hold. MARUGOTO de. You don't have to be impressive to be loved. MARUGOTO watashi. Yeah. The day I cried in the parking lot, and the day I laughed until I couldn't breathe. Both of those are me, both of those are real, both of those are part of what makes me, me. I stopped trying to be the good days, only stopped hiding the hard ones away. Because the whole picture is so much more beautiful than any single perfect day. MARUGOTO watashi. All of it, the light and the shadow too. Uketomeru. Every part of this story is mine to hold. MARUGOTO de. You don't have to be impressive to be loved. MARUGOTO watashi. Parts of you get to exist. Zenbu ga watashi. The strong days and the soft days, the brave and the scared. Zenbu ukeireru. Every piece of the story belongs to the whole. MARUGOTO watashi. All of it, the light and the shadow too. Uketomeru. Every part of this story is mine to hold. MARUGOTO de. You don't have to be impressive to be watashi. I spent so long trying to follow the map someone else drew for a life like mine. The right schedule, the right way to rest, the right path everyone says is fine. But my mornings don't look like theirs, my slow doesn't look like theirs slow. And for the longest time I thought that meant I was doing it wrong, doing it slow. But what in my way was never supposed to look like yours. JIBUN no pace today. What if different isn't wrong, it's just mine. JIBUN you de iku. My own pace, my own rhythm, my own way. Kono pace today. Not better, not worse, just mine. There's no wrong way to be yourself. Well, gosh, you know, mama. Yeah, I used to apologize for my pace, for needing more time, more space, more rest, for doing things differently than the rest, for my version of doing my best. But slow isn't broken, different isn't wrong. My rhythm has carried me this far. My way of moving through the world is exactly the way I am. But what in my way was never supposed to look like yours. JIBUN no pace today. What if different isn't wrong, it's just mine. JIBUN you de iku. My own pace, my own rhythm, my own way. Kono pace today. Not better, not worse, just mine. What could it Now I move at the pace that feels right, even when it's slower than everyone else. I rest when I need to, push when I want to, and trust that my way works for myself. The path looks different than I thought it would, but it's mine every twist, every turn. この道を歩いてる, and there's worth more than fitting in, worth more than I'd earn. You don't need that rhythm, you don't need that map. このペースでいい. Walk slower if you need to, walk faster if you want to. この道よ, this is your life, your way, your pace, and that's enough, that's always been enough. 自分流で行く, my own pace, my own rhythm, my own way. このペースで, not better, not worse, just mineのはこれでいいんだ. There's no wrong way to be yourself. 私のまま, 自分流, 自分流, これでいい, 私のまま. When did everything start feeling like it had to weigh so much? When did right become a thing you had to earn, had to clutch? I used to think depth meant heaviness, that serious was the only way to be real. That if something didn't cost me something, it probably didn't mean anything, didn't feel. But I've started noticing the lightness in the way the morning just begins, in the way a song can lift a whole day up, in the way joy doesn't need a reason to win. HITOIKI, light doesn't mean shallow, light can be true. You don't have to carry everything so hard. Warito is its own kind of strength, its own kind of wise. KAROYAKA ni. I watch the way leaves move in the wind, not fighting it, just flowing along. And I think about how much energy I spend resisting things, holding on. What if I move through my days like that, responsive, not rigid, light on my feet, taking things seriously without taking them so heavily? HITOIKI, light doesn't mean shallow, light can be true. You don't have to carry everything so hard. Warito is its own kind of strength, its own kind of wise. KAROYAKA ni. Heavy isn't the same as important, light isn't the same as not caring. Karusa ni mo imi ga aru. You can hold things gently and still hold them. You can move through life with ease and still be deeply, fully here. KAROYAKA ni ikitei. That's not avoiding life, that's living it well. HITOIKI, light doesn't mean shallow, light can be true. You don't have to carry everything so hard. Warito is its own kind of strength, its own kind of wise. KAROYAKA ni. Karoi, karoi. Soleil. There was a time every morning felt like a countdown to something I had to survive. Wake up already exhausted, already behind, already bracing before I'd even open my eyes. I used to dread the sameness of it, another day just like the one before. Stuck in some loop I couldn't break out of, wishing for anything, anything more. 今日も生きてる Another day and that's not nothing. 今日もここに Still here, still going, still trying. それでいいよ It's saying this isn't a failure, it's steady. 今日も生きてる Another day and that's not nothing. 今日もここに Still here, still going, still trying. それでいいよ The same, this isn't a failure, it's steady. 今日も Now I find something different in the repetition, in the routine, the coffee, the walk, the same old playlist. There's a comfort in what's seen. It's not that every day is exciting. Not every day has to be, but showing up again and again and again might be some kind of victory. 今日も起きた That's enough some days. 今日も食べた今日も歩いた Small things, ordinary things, but they add up to a life, and a life made of small things. It's still a whole life, still a real one. 今日も生きてる Another day and that's not nothing. 今日もここに Still here, still going, still trying. それでいいよ The same, this isn't a failure, it's steady. 今日も I still here. 今日も生きてる That's the whole story. 今日もそれでいい 今日I know you're wondering if you're doing this right, if the path you're on is the one you should take, if maybe you should have turned somewhere back there, if maybe this whole thing is some kind of mistake. I wanna tell you something from a little further down the road. You don't need the answer right now today. このままで進んでいい The path reveals itself as you walk it, not before. You're gonna look back on this version of you, the one who's unsure, the one who's still figuring it out, and you're going to be so proud of her for continuing even with the doubt. She didn't wait until she had it all figured out. She didn't wait for certainty to begin. 今のあなたで was always exactly enough, was always going to win. 歩んでいい You don't need to have it all worked out. 進んでいいよ The figure it out happens as you go. このまま行こう You don't need the whole map to take the next step. この道を Just keep walking, just keep going. Are you the unsure version of you is still worthy? このままで Someday you'll look back at this moment, this exact uncertain, unfinished now, and you'll see it wasn't a problem to solve. It was just a chapter, just a part of the how. The story doesn't need you to know the ending to be worth telling, to be worth living through. 今この時が is exactly where the story needs you. You don't have to arrive somewhere else to be worthy of where you are. 歩みは続く The journey doesn't pause for you to be ready. It's happening now with you exactly as you are. 今のあなたで十分 Keep walking, the path will keep unfolding. You don't need to see the whole thing. I'm done shrinking to fit, done making myself smaller for rooms that were too small for me. Done apologizing for taking up space. I used to fold myself into the corners, take up as little room as I could. Quiet footsteps, quiet opinions, quiet everything just to be good. But somewhere along the way I realized the world doesn't need me smaller. It needs me to stretch out, to breathe deep, to take up exactly the space I require. Nobi nobi to ikiru, stretching out into the space that's mine. Jiyuu ni ikiru, no more folding myself smaller than I am. Kaihou shite, this is what it feels like to take up room. Kiraku ni. Out now just because I take the long way home sometimes just to wander. I say what I think without softening at first. I laugh loud, I move freely, I wonder. This isn't about being more than anyone, it's about being all of who I already am. Nobi nobi to raku ni, without the cramped feeling, without the plan. Nobi nobi to ikiru, stretching out into the space that's mine. Jiyuu ni ikiru, no more folding myself smaller than I am. Kaihou shika, this is what it feels like to take up room. Kiraku ni. Yeah, you were never too much, you were just folded too small. Nobi nobi shiyou yo, unfold, stretch out, take up the space that was always yours to take. Jibun no hirotsa de ikiru, this is your size, your space.